Welcome. This is Jennifer to the rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson. I was looking at my wonderful guest here and getting kind of confused there for a minute. I am Jennifer Johnson, JenniferToTheRescue.com, as you can see. We are here. I'm your lyrical appreciation expert is what I call myself. And as we've been going through this for the last few months, I'm getting more and more confident of that every day. And yes, I do a lot of music, and I'm all about connecting and celebrating those people and those relationships that are special to you, whether it's business and individual. We're here at the Wofford Theater, which is inside Logan Street Signs and Banners, which happen to be our sponsors, and we're very happy to be here today and hopefully for many more weeks to come. I am very excited that I asked my guests to be here a couple months ago, and then it just worked out that this was the good timing. This is Danny O'Malia. And Danny is, yes, of the legendary O'Malia family. Basically, I'm going to read an intro that I pulled off the Who's Your Hometown Heroes, which is a great thing if anybody wants to go out and check that out.
HometownHeroes.com.
Yes. Someday, Jennifer to the rescue will be hometown hero. Danny O'Malia learned the value of hard work and customer service very early in life. At the age of 9, Danny started working for his dad, Joe O'Malia, in his first Broad Ripple supermarket. Joe and Danny would eventually build O'Malia's supermarket into a legendary Indianapolis brand known for unbelievable customer service. And these days, Danny helps Indianapolis businesses, big and small, mold their culture and operations to deliver outstanding customer service. And Danny internalized and mastered countless lessons on service learned from his dad during those great O'Malia supermarket years. And I just thank you for coming by today.
No, thanks for having me, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
It's good to be here.
It is fun to have somebody who I could tell everybody, Danny O'Malia is coming to my show, and it's like, oh, really? Okay, cool.
That's nice to hear.
It is very cool. And I know when we connected a number of months ago through a local networking group, and I kind of pestered you to get together, but I did have a reason. What you talk about is exactly what I know. I don't always do everything about it, but that's what I'm trying to really preach, is the only reason I was successful in any sales that I've done for years is because I tried to implement. Now you've got the master you've got the whole book written on the subject of customer service. But we thank you very much for coming, and tell us a little bit about what it was like to be in this with your dad at 9 years old.
Yeah, well, my dad actually, and this is a little known fact unless you've talked to me about it, but the grocery store I worked at 9, my dad did not succeed financially in that grocery store. This was a good 9 years before O'Malia Food Markets. But he bought a little grocery store in Broad Ripple, which is on Guilford Avenue, and it today is the Casbah / Usual Suspects bar. And if you've been to that bar, well, this grocery store had one cash register and 5 employees, one of which was a 9-year-old child. And that's when I started learning customer service from my dad, both by his example and by what he told me. And one example would be that he would say, well, this is Mrs. Johnson over here, and she just got back from New Orleans, and she wants Frank's hot sauce, as a for instance. That's a common item today. Back then it was not. He would get into the cash drawer, get out 87 cents, and say, I want you to run down to the Kroger store, which is still a block south of that store. I want you to get 3 bottles of it. And I'd say, well, Dad, what if it's more than 29 cents a bottle? And he'd say it's 29 cents a bottle, and he always had the price right in the Kroger store. And he would say, I want you to get back here before she checks out. I'll take a couple of bottles and put them in the safe. Somebody else will want one, or she will want another one. Oh, by the way, don't get hit by a car at 62nd Street. So not everything has changed in Broad Ripple. And that was a huge lesson for me. And later I saw it come to fruition when he opened the first O'Malia store, and I saw people shopping there partly because we offered products that no one else had. which happened because the customers asked for them, and my dad went out and got them.
Yeah, very, very ahead of his time, obviously.
Yeah, or even behind his time and ahead of his time. And that was old-fashioned service.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It's just going back to the golden rule of take care, do what you'd expect everybody to do for you, but they don't do for you usually.
Plus, another one of his standards was the best customer is the one you already have.
Oh, and
So take care of them.
And part of the information that I had, to share today with some of the numbers of, that best customer is the one you already have. And that's what I tell people all the time. It's like, do you realize the value of what you've already got? And it costs a lot more money to go out and get a new customer. So there's a whole bunch of slides that we actually were trying to put the PowerPoint up, and that wasn't working real well today. But the empowerment and I think we could. Can you touch on that? The empowerment.
Yeah. Well, one of the slides in my PowerPoint presentation that I use with my clients is a quote from Mary Kay Ash. Someone asked Mary Kay Ash, "Why have you been so successful?" And her answer was very simple. I tried to hire the nicest people I could hire, and I tried to let them be as nice as they could be. And that's what empowerment is.
Right.
The smart company will allow its employees to even break a few rules when it comes to customer satisfaction. Back in the O'Malley days, we were more strict on our rules on dress code than we were on the rules on giving refunds. Because giving refunds, that's where you want to give employees some freedom.
Exactly.
Dress code, you want your employees looking good, so you got to have some standards. But you're never going to get anybody in trouble at O'Malley's if they give too big a refund, or they give a refund too easily, because they're trying to take care of the customer. They should be applauded. If they've made a mistake, you explain to them why that was a mistake, but you encourage them again the next time to make sure you err on the side of generosity to the customer, because the best customer is the one you already have.
Right.
And you want that customer back.
Exactly. We want to make sure that they are seeing Danny O'Malley at gmail.com. And your phone number's up there. We also have the website is Indies with an S, trustedservant.com. And one of the things that, Danny not only talks about this stuff, but he implements it himself every day. One of the biggest things, and we're going to take a short break, but I've called him a few times. I get a phone call back immediately. We're going to kind of touch on that because that's a part of the, I know that's part of the O'Malley culture and the reason that you had the empire and the customer service kingdom or the crowning situation there where you were known for all of that. So we will be back in just a few minutes, and don't leave.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
We are back, and I am Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the rescue, and I'm here with my wonderful, awesome guest, and it's Mr. Danny O'Malia, and yes, the Mr. Danny O'Malia from the legendary O'Malia family of the grocery store fame. And we were talking before the break a little bit about empowerment and customer service, and what I think it'd be good to just kind of talk about what happens as a company grows. How do you keep, because you were, the Broad Ripple store, you said, was how many, 5 employees?
5 employees and did not succeed, and he came back 10 years later and started.
Okay,
O'Malia's.
but what do you do when a company starts growing?
In the case of O'Malia's and Joe O'Malia, and this would really go for any company that grows at all. And this is what I tout companies like Nordstrom and Chick-fil-A,
Right.
because they've been able to hold on to this as they've gotten bigger. And the way you do that is with things like this. You never assume that anybody knows anything. And you tell them everything. And my dad would have this conversation. Danny, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but just in case. When I want you to go to the stores a lot, and he would tell me how to behave when I went to the stores in a collaborative, not a get people in trouble way. But when you do that, you park as far from the front door as you possibly can. If you do that and I do that, it'll become part of who we are. We won't even have to make it a rule. Thus, one less rule for people to follow. Okay.
Right.
The rules we have, they got to follow, but we don't want to have too many rules. And he was absolutely right as time went by. In the late 80s, I had gotten a reputation for being a good speaker because I was out on the stump doing a speech on how to be a smart grocery shopper, which was great marketing for O'Malia Food Markets.
Sure.
And my dad put me in charge of public speaking in the mid-'70s. And this had grown to quite I was getting around and doing 6 or 7 of these a month. And I got a call from the manager, a new manager of the Ayers store in Glendale. He said, would you come and speak to my employees, not about how to be a smart grocery shopper, but about how O'Malia's does service. Could you come Monday morning at 7? Once a month we have a staff meeting from 7 to 9. We open at 9. I said, well, sure, I'll put together something. I got there at 7, and the first 50 parking spaces were already taken. And I was talking to 50 employees, and so I surmised that I was talking to the people that were taking those parking spaces. So one of the first things I said was, if you want to give good service, start by giving the first 50 parking spaces to your customers. You park out there at the street. And for 10 years or more, when I got to the corner of 62nd and Keystone, I would jog, and by golly, they were listening to me. But what's even more amazing was about a year ago, I was talking to a fellow named Dave Neaton. He's a branch manager for First Financial Bank in Lawrence. And I told him that story, and he said, well, that's amazing, because in the early 80s, I worked in that Ayers store and as a high school kid, and we were parking out. Well, sometime between the time Dave Neaton got there and the time I got there, their culture slipped. And the manager told me afterwards, hey, I called you because I just got here and I can tell service isn't what it should be. It starts with things that are that small.
Right, exactly. And you actually, one of the first quotes on your slideshow says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that's Joe O'Malley.
That was
right?
my dad.
That
That was
is
1966 when he opened the first store.
Right.
Everybody knew that slogan.
I've seen it. Oh, I've seen it a number of places. But that is a good lead-in. Maybe I'm looking for the list. Oh, for the list of more customer service wisdom from the legendary Danny O'Malley. This is your the list, and the list is how many things? It's 10.
How to handle complaints.
How to handle
Yes.
complaints. Oh, that's because you were put in charge of that when
My
you
dad-
came on full time, right?
In fact, my dad gave me that job the same day he put me in charge of public speaking back in 1975.
What a nice guy.
And he
I'm sure
sat,
that's a nice guy.
he sat me down and said, I'm putting you in charge of complaints, and I want you to write these steps down. And there are 11 steps to handling customer complaints. And I might mention, if you'd like a list of the steps, and you email me at dannyomalia@gmail.com, I will be
Right up
glad
there.
to send you the list
Anybody that's watching,
Yep.
anybody
at
yeah,
all.
Okay.
Just say you watch the Jennifer show and
Jennifer to the rescue.
the Jennifer to the Rescue show. And, he made me write them down, and he said, I want you to take these down to the store managers, which we had 3 stores at the time. And I want them to do the same steps. And I want you, again, he always emphasized this, collaborate with the store managers on this. Get them to understand that if they call you because they got a problem, you're not going to gig them on the customer complaint log if they get to you before the customer does. Because the idea is to take care of the customer, not to judge anybody. But we're going to keep a log of complaints and compliments.
Yeah.
And that became very helpful in later years. But he was always talking about the collaboration between headquarters and the stores. Most companies have adversarial relationships there. They send in people from headquarters who are looking for things wrong, and Joe always said, find somebody doing something right. And if they do something wrong, you're going to tell them, you're out of cornflakes, you shouldn't be out of cornflakes. But make sure you find more things right.
And that's that's so cool, because that's what I believe. If you tell people the good stuff they're doing, then they start
They'll fix
to
the
build
bad
it.
stuff.
Yes, they don't mind fixing the bad stuff
Yep.
because you've already recognized the good stuff. One of the big, and I circled this, and I know you and I've talked about it, but it's also what I was talking about before the break, is I leave you a call, or I email you, or I call you, and you don't even really know me. You're getting to know me better.
I know you.
But you take care of me like that. You know,
That's right.
it's number 5. It says return all calls unbelievably fast. And I'm thinking,
my dad actually said, I'm not saying as soon as possible, I'm saying unbelievably fast. He said, I'm going to give you a quiz. You got back from the store, and you got 3
That's a good-
calls.
yeah.
One is from your wife. It does not say one of the little girls broke her arm. One is from one of your crazy Xavier buddies about going to a basketball game. The third is from a lady you never heard of. Which call are you returning first? I said, rhetorical question, right, Dad?
Right.
I get it. Take care. She might be asking for a donation. She might have a complaint. She might have a compliment. You don't know what she wants necessarily. Call her first. She's probably one of those
Right.
customers you already have.
right. And that's one of the things I cringe when I get an email or a phone call and I don't recognize but if I handle that first, it always, or 95% of the time, turns out it was a good thing, and
Well,
it wasn't.
people appreciate the call
Right,
back or the
exactly.
email back or whatever it is.
Yes,
And
yes.
It's a shame that they appreciate it, because it means most people are not doing it.
Right, exactly. And that's what it's all about, is the customer service. I know we have some more to talk about, so we wanted to make sure that everybody can find you at Indies, with an S, indiestrustedservant.com. And then we also have your email at Danny O'Malia. I always put an H in there. Don't put the
No-
H
no
in there.
H in O'Malia.
Danny O'Malia at gmail.com. And you did say that if they would email you or reach out to you with your phone number there,
And ask for the complaint list.
The complaint
Go online on
list.
complaints.
it's an interesting list. And we're going to talk after the break about
What is a customer?
what is a customer.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. Thanks.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore. You know,
Well, welcome back to Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson. We're here with our wonderful, awesome, there's other wonderful terms I could probably say.
Gosh, I hope my wife is watching.
Yeah, there we go. Danny O'Malia, and yes, the Danny O'Malia of the legendary O'Malia family, grocery food stores. And we were talking about the complaint list that your dad had put together, and there was the returning calls.
Yep.
And I am always amazed, I've said that before, but you have a story that goes along with that?
I do. The last year I was at part of Marsh Supermarkets. The first 4.5 years I was strictly in the O'Malia division. The last year they brought me over into the Marsh division as well, and they put me in charge of customer service, really of handling complaints for the whole company. And they did a press release and named me the Chief Customer Service Officer. And if you've got a problem, call Danny O'Malia. Well, pretty soon I got a call from a fella, John Doe, and he worked for Weyerhaeuser Paper Company. And he said, my problem is I'm trying to bid on the paper bag business, and I've left 3 messages for the paper bag buyer, and he will not call me back. And by the way, my wife loves the O'Malia store at 126th and Gray. So I apologized profusely and told him that either the paper bag guy or myself would be calling him back after I had a chance to talk to the guy. And before I went up to the paper bag guy, I decided to check the veracity of his statement about his wife being a good shopper, with the card or the computer. And I found out that indeed, and it's going to get us to the best customers, the one you already had, indeed, his wife was spending about $250 a week in the O'Malia store on Gray Road. So when I went up to talk to the paper bag guy, his answer was, I don't have to call him back. I don't have time to call him back. And we have a contract with the XYZ company for 2 more years. And I said, well, one of the books on my suggested reading list is Do the Right Thing. It's about Southwest Airlines. The right thing to do is call him back. But if you can't do it because it's the right thing to do, and I pulled a piece of paper out that showed how much the man's wife had been spending, and his eyes got as big as silver dollars. And he said, okay, I'll call. And I said, you understand, you don't know who you're not calling back. So just revert to do the right thing. Call them back.
Right, call them back. So your numbers here are based on, can you...
something we used to show to our new employees at orientation, how important it is to take care of each and every customer. The quote is, the best customer is the one you already have. We walk our employees through, what if somebody started shopping with us, and these families are legion in Hamilton County, in 1966 and continued to shop with us for 40 years. The first 3 years, or the first 20 years, they had 3 kids they were bringing up. The last 20 years, maybe not. That would be about $250,000 from that one family. If we made them mad in the second year and they went somewhere else, what did that cost us?
Exactly.
A lot of money. And like you said earlier, it's a lot cheaper to keep the customers you've got. And the other thing is, the customers you've got, new neighbor moves in, where do you shop for groceries? I shop at O'Malia's. Best service, best meat, best quality, best variety of product. Boy, that's a lot better than me saying that.
Sure, it's always going to be, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're selling. I was thinking about, I've met with realtors and different products I've been selling over the years, and realtors spend a lot, any industry, you spend a lot of money to bring those people to you. And if you're starting to get that warm market out there that's already shopping with you, already happy with you, wouldn't it be cool to have Gladys over the fence saying, I mean, and you know, I talk to so many people, and you probably do it all the time, talk to people all the time, how do you make purchases? You know, it's not based on, it's funny, and you probably have numbers somewhere, but the marketing dollars are usually like 95% on advertising and 5% on relationship building.
That ought to be
That should have been, it's a paradox, or what do they call that? Paradox, I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's just amazing when you put it down on papers. The Harvard Business Review, what did they say?
A couple of eggheads from the Harvard Business Review were quoted as saying companies can boost profits by almost 100% by just retaining 5% more of the regular customers. And I've studied some companies that I think fail to do that. I got a particular problem in the past with dealing with Best Buy. It seems to me that they spend an awful lot of money to entice people into the store, and then they turn people off when they get to the store. I've got specific stories about that are pretty funny, but we don't have time for them all.
And I would bet somebody from Best Buy is listening.
Calling
or emailing. Part of my, or a good percentage of my world has been insurance sales, and I always thought it was they're going to go with me because I'm the cheapest. And I remember many times older, wiser people would say to me, agents in the hierarchy would say, nope, it really has, if they trust you, they know you, they trust you, and they like you. That we all know that. But with Amelia's, it was doing the stuff like running out to get she didn't know that. The story you were talking about, your lady, the Frank's hot sauce story that we were talking about.
No, she never knew how Dad.
But the fact that you had it and you were the small, now you start becoming known as I'm just saying that if they price is not the going.
Well, not with the people that you can make money off of.
Right, and then if they believe, hey, I can go to Amelia's and they're going to have anything I need, or
Thus, I don't have to go to another store and spend a lot of time.
Right, and that was the other thing in the interview that I viewed, and I think we talked about it too. But the fact that you would do that, your store Amelia's would do that would save that woman having to go all over town looking for her.
Her time is more valuable.
And who's she going to remember when she's talking over the fence to?
That's right.
The neighbor person. DannyOmelia@gmail.com. If they email you, they can get the complaint list, and we're also going to take a couple more minutes here and a few seconds after we make sure everybody knows how to find you at the Indies Trusted Servant.com, Danny Omelia. We're going to talk about this. What is a customer? Is there I know there's a story. We have just a short time before our break. Do you have a good way to explain what this was?
It's better to start the next segment.
Okay. All right.
It's a good story, but it's better to start the next segment with it. And it'll be another thing that if you email me and ask for it, I'll be glad to send it.
And we'll make sure everybody knows that. I would just visit it again, too, to check out JenniferToTheRescue.com. We are going to start actually ramping ramping that site up a little bit with some more, because I've got so many things going on, and we're having great people like Danny Omelia, and I'm actually going to be on your show.
Well, we'll talk about that in the next segment too.
He's a pro. He doesn't want to give you too much before we. So we're going to take a break. We are not timing it quite right, are we? Tease. Oh, and we also have another.
We'll talk if we got time. We'll talk about the radio show.
Okay, real quick.
So my radio show is every Tuesday from 4 to 4:30. All you do is call this number, 317-238-3004. When you hear the prompt, you hit the code 279015#. And if you do that on July 22nd, my guest will be Jennifer to the Rescue.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about her business instead of my business.
And what we'll do is we'll come back from the break and we'll give you that phone number again.
And I'll tell you about next week's show too, because it's going to be extremely interesting.
Great, cool. We'll be right back.
Decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan
To
Street.
save? Paid to Save is a cool new way to save big right now at merchants without paying anything up front. By now, you've probably seen daily deal sites and are wondering, how is Paid to Save different? With Paid to Save, you can reserve a deal without buying anything up front. You can redeem your deal right now, and you'll save 50%, 80%, or even 100%. Here's how it works. Simply launch our iPhone or Android app to find a great deal. Lock it in to reserve it just for you. And check in before the deal ends to redeem it and save big. That's it. Just incredible deals right now. And what makes Paid to Save even better is that merchants love it too. Since they can control the amount, the number available, and timing of the deals, they are happy to serve you when you come through their door. So grab the Paid to Save app from the Android Market or App Store and start saving big and exploring the world around you. Is Paid to Save?
We are back, and I'm Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the Rescue, and it's been wonderful to have you here. We have a little more time, and this is Danny O'Malia, yes, of the legendary O'Malia family food grocery stores. We were talking about
The radio show.
the radio show. That we were trying to get a bunch of stuff in at the very end there. We were talking about your radio show.
It's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show every Tuesday from 4 to 4:30. It's lively local small biz and community talk. I might even have a couple of ideas for people that have been on my show that you might want to talk to,
That'd be
Jennifer,
great.
and we
That'd
can
be
do
great.
that off the air. You call, it's a big conference call on something called Radio Indy Small Biz. You call 317-238-3004 at 4 o'clock on Tuesdays. And when you hear the prompt, you hit 279-015-pound, 279-015-pound. You'll be listening, along with a lot of my friends, to my guest. Next week, my guest will be a fellow by the name of Joe Cooper, and he's with an organization called the Project Managers Institute of Indiana. It's a national organization, and of course, there are state chapters. And I am their keynote speaker at their event on August 21st, the evening of August 21st, at the Oak Hill Mansion. More about that next week, but the public is invited to that event. The Project Managers Institute is a trade organization of everything from builders to engineers to accountants to architects and lawyers and doctors that deal with projects, okay?
Yeah.
And I guess everybody has projects. And then on the 22nd, my guest will be Jennifer to the Rescue.
be me.
And we'll talk
It'll
about
be
Jennifer
me.
to the Rescue. So,
I was going to say, if they
that'd
they
be
would
great.
email you or go to your website, will that conference call information be there, or is that kind of to your trusted friends?
No, they can email me and ask me for the information, and I
Okay.
will send it to them along with the other stuff that I promised to send.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to do that.
Okay, well, that would be great. Thank you, Jim, for suggesting that.
Great.
And we'll hopefully get that up on the screen. And then we were going to talk about
What is a
this,
customer?
what is a customer?
Well, and what is a customer not? Okay.
Exactly.
And the story is, I'll hold this up. This is not part of my PowerPoint. This is something I want everybody who attends one of my programs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can read that,
it's
but you can get the general idea. What is a customer? And there's a great story behind this. Back in the
wonderful-
late 70s, a gentleman who had a trophy and plaque business in Noblesville called on me to try and sell me trophies and plaques for O'Malia's. And he said, I want you to have this as a sample of what I can do for you. And he gave me this. And he said, because I want you to know that I've never shopped any place that reminded me of this, like the O'Malia store that was in Noblesville at the time.
Oh, there you
And
go.
so what I
Good
did with
question.
that was well, first of all, we had 3 stores at the time, and I made copies for every employee, and I sat for 5 minutes with each individual employee, showed them this, gave him a copy, said, this is our legacy. This is what we want you to live up to. This is what our customers expect. From there, we had started a new employee orientation program, told the story to all the new employees at orientation, gave them a copy of it. It is worth its weight in gold. I'm glad to share it with people if they'll email me at dannyomalia@gmail.com. So you email me and you say, I would like to see Joe's list about handling complaints. I'd like to see what is a customer. And I wouldn't mind the connection to your radio show if you can give it to me. I will be glad to email
So
them
you've
back.
got a lot of emails coming.
Well, that would be good. I'd be very busy,
Great.
but it would be fun.
Customer service is his thing. Okay.
There you go. And the rest of the story is, I never asked the trophy guy, well, where'd you get this what as a customer? And I found it on the internet a few years ago. It was written by Ann Landers.
Yes.
IndiesTrustedServant.com, 279-015-2383. You've got it, Jim.
So
Thank you very
there's the
much.
conference call number, and then continue your story about the customer service.
Well-
Or what is a customer?
Well,
With Ann Landers.
back to the what is a customer. When we had the new employee orientation at O'Malley's, I would say, now what I want you to do with this, your copy of this, is just take your favorite line or two and add it to your repertoire. My favorite line is, a customer is not an interruption of my job. A customer is the reason I have my job. So if you're in the grocery department and you're on a truck, unloading the truck in the back,
Sure.
and you hear the dreaded, all grocery help to the front, you get off that truck, you run to the front. Hopefully don't run into anybody, but get up to the front and jump on a register or carry out some groceries until the rush is over. Then you can go back to the second part of your job, which is unloading the truck. The customer's always first. You can't imagine. I've had people tell me, even in the last 5 and 6 years, who might have gotten this 20, 30 years ago from me. One butcher said, I've cut out my favorite line. I staple it to my time card every week. One office cashier said, it's on my mirror when I brush my teeth in the morning.
Oh,
When I brush
gosh.
my hair in the morning. And another guy said, I got it on my dashboard. They're still using it.
They're still, oh, sure.
It's
great.
very cool.
Great.
So, and all my clients, all their employees walk away with a copy of this.
Well, I'm going to be emailing you for a copy.
You'll
so.
get yours.
I'll get one
sure.
okay, and the phone number that was up there was the conference call, and I'm sure Jim put it back up for us, but the conference call on Tuesdays, and it's
4 to 4:30.
4 to 4:30, yeah, we got to make sure. 4 to 4:30, you call the number, and then you put that code in with the...
And you're listening to all my other acquaintances who are listening to me with Joe Cooper of the Project Managers Institute this Tuesday, and on the 15th, Jennifer to the rescue.
Yeah, and you're going to say, what has she got to talk about? Well, just wait and see. We'll figure it out. You were talking, though, we were kind of thinking of how to, we certainly hope you'll come back.
Oh, I'd love to
because
come
I'm
back.
sure there's so many stories, and I
can
think
go on
customer
forever.
service just, there's no end to, yeah, like you said, we can go on forever. But what was you were talking about empowerment and.
Back to the empowerment.
Because that was just the motto for,
Exactly.
you know.
Well, my dad was very big on the empowerment thing, and I've
For the-
seen how the empowerment works. Worked for O'Malley's, how it continues to work for Nordstrom's. People show up at Nordstrom's and ask crazy stuff of them, and their employees are empowered to do it. I guess I'd like to end with a quote from Martin Luther King and then a story about NASA, and to give you the ultimate in empowerment. Martin Luther King said it best, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And that means if you're the garbage man, you can serve, okay? Right up to the president of the world can serve. In fact, that's what we were put here to do, was to serve. And it reminds me of a great story that a good friend of mine here in Indianapolis, Dr. Joe Albano, told me about President Kennedy. And for those of you who are not history buffs, this was while President Kennedy was president. So this was sometime between 1961 and 1963, was touring NASA headquarters. If you can imagine what it might have been like 50 years ago, here's the Secret Service, here's all the media. He's talking to this astrophysicist and this engineer and all these drafting tables, and God knows what the computers looked like back then, right?
Sure.
But he sees over in the corner of this huge room a guy mopping the floor. He says, I want to go talk to the guy mopping the floor. He goes over, shakes his hand. The guy's well-dressed, golf shirt with NASA logo on it. He stands up ramrod straight, and President Kennedy says, and what is your job here? And he goes, my job, Mr. President, is to try and help put a man on the moon. Well, within 6 years, we did put a man on the moon. If everybody thinks the way that guy did,
Exactly.
then you're going to put a man on the moon.
Exactly.
That's
That's a
empowering.
great way to wind up our segment with Danny O'Malia today. And I always just try, I think it actually works. I try to leave with an upbeat, Jennifer to the rescue, Jennifer Johnson upbeat, and I think it works. This is a Maya Angelou. If you're always trying to be normal or average, you'll never know how amazing you can be. And obviously, O'Malia Food Stores and Danny O'Malia has been absolutely amazing today, and we'll hopefully get you back. And any questions, you got his email up there, you got his phone number too.
And we'll
Phone
talk
number.
again on
We
the
will.
15th.
And yes,
Listen to
the-
my show.
Actually, the 22nd.
It's the 22nd. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There you go.
That's all right. We'll make sure they all know.
The 22nd.
22nd. Thank you very much, and have a great day. We'll be back.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Paid to Save? Paid to Save is a cool new way to save big right now at merchants without paying anything up front. By now, you've probably seen daily deal sites and are wondering, how is Paid to Save different? With Paid to Save, you can reserve a deal without buying anything up front. You can redeem your deal right now, and you'll save 50%, 80%, or even 100%. Here's how it works. Simply launch our iPhone or Android app to find a great deal. Lock it in to reserve it just for you. And check in before the deal ends to redeem it and save big. That's it. Just incredible deals right now. And what makes Paid to Save even better is that merchants love it too. Since they can control the amount, the number available, and timing of the deals, they are happy to serve you when you come through their door. So grab the Paid to Save app from the Android Market or App Store and start saving big and exploring the world around you.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Or business is struck by an unexpected disaster, you need Indiana Restoration and Cleaning Services. From flood damage to mold problems to even duct and carpet cleaning, Indiana Restoration and Cleaning Services is the only name to know.
Indiana Restoration and Cleaning Service.
Hello, everyone. This has been a fun day. I'm getting to interview all my favorite people, and it's a beautiful day outside. This is Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the rescue. We're here at Logan Street Signs and Banners. And Logan Street, actually, we're at the Wofford Theater, which is inside Logan Street Signs and Banners. And we're really excited because we're starting kind of, we're going to try to make it a monthly. Maybe we'll get Chris back a little bit more often. But this month at Bethel Lutheran Church is the church that I've attended here in Noblesville, and a lot of you know it's probably, you've been there or you've driven by it, 206th in Cumberland, a beautiful church that sits out there. But Chris Lingenfelder is our Christian Education Director, and she's also just a wonderful person. So we've, because I only bring on wonderful people on my show. Yeah, you should know that. One of the things, though, we've got a lot of things going on at Bethel. So we're going to start out, though. You're going to tell them all about everything that's going on at Bethel, but tell us about you.
About me.
Yes, tell us about you. Well, I think you because you have an interesting story. I mean, isn't your husband in military?
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
okay.
in the military, yeah.
So are you from, well, I mean, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to, yeah. See, I told you, it's fun. We have fun. No, it's not. It isn't anything. I just didn't know if he would. Okay, forget it. All right, Chris, tell us, have you been in Noblesville for a long time?
We actually lived here 12 years.
Okay.
12 years, but we still kind of feel new. In the last couple years, because we didn't start going to Bethel until about a year and a half ago. And then I started working there about a year ago. It just kind of all fell into place.
It has been really cool because I've been very busy at Bethel for the last couple of years, and you have been a very, very active member, and then becoming part of the staff and everything else.
Yeah.
But you live in Noblesville. You've lived here for 12 years. Your husband's in the military, and you have how many children?
We have two. We have a 10-year-old Gabe and Bella, who is almost 8 next month.
I love the name Bella. That's our dog name. She's a wonderful, and it means beauty or something. And then Gabe, obviously, is that a family name?
No,
Oh,
it's
no.
not. Just one I always liked.
That is a very good name. So you have been in Noblesville. I think there's a lot of things going on in Noblesville for many years. I mean, the people that we lived in Noblesville until last fall when we downsized a little and moved to Fishers. But in that 17, 18 years, so much changed.
It has changed so
and
much.
it's growing and...
Yep, it is definitely growing, and yeah, I think about when we moved here 12 years ago, and
Right.
our house felt like it was in the middle of nowhere, and now we're surrounded. So
Yeah, no kidding. Now, you live in Noblesville?
We do, on the north side.
On the
Mhm,
north
very
side.
close to the church,
So
actually,
not
yeah.
very far from the church. Well, that was the convenience for us, too, as it was right there. But it's a wonderful place.
It is a wonderful place for families, for kids. It's great.
So we're not going to get it all in one big thing. Tell us, what is the big thing that's going on at Bethel right now?
The big thing is Vacation Bible School.
Vacation Bible School
VBS.
starts
It
next...
starts on Sunday, on the 13th. So a couple
Oh.
of days from now. It actually starts this coming Sunday and goes through Thursday the 17th.
And you're the main...
Oh, yeah.
Lady. So-
We are in the throes of decorating right now. So
Well, thank
hopefully
you
the
for
church
giving
will
us your
turn
time today. If you go to Chris at BethelLutheranChurch.com, if they email you, but they can also just go to the website.
Sure, BethelLutheranChurch.com, and there are links to register. And the secret, too, or not so secret, is that you don't have to register. If you show up on Sunday when VBS starts at 6 o'clock, you can still join us for the week. And if you can't make it till Wednesday, you can still come.
See, I
So
had
we won't turn anyone away.
Yeah, and I had in my mind, I thought it started like the middle of the week.
No, we have just a few days.
Have
Lot
you?
to do.
You have? Yes, and I appreciate. Like I said, we appreciate you giving the time today. Hopefully, it'll bring you a few more participants.
Oh, we'd love it. We would love to have as many kids as we can get to share in. And the theme this year is
Yes.
weird animals. And we definitely have some weird animal characters that are our little mascots for the week. But the whole idea behind it is that, God creates all sorts of interesting, crazy creatures, including humans, and each one of us is a little different, a little weird at times.
Oh,
and
that's
that's okay.
cool.
And it's
It's
just
good.
to show that everybody is different, and that God made us that way intentionally, and that we should, accept ourselves and others for our weirdness and embrace that. And so it's a fun, exciting, kind of action-filled week with our crazy little critters, and hopefully it will be very decorated, and we're all ready for it.
I know that over the past number of years, well, my children are older now, but when they were in that age range, what is the age?
It goes from preschool, so we have kids that are 4 years old, all the way up through kids entering into 6th grade for this upcoming school year. So
Okay.
anywhere from preschool through 6th grade. And if there's older kids that still want to come but just can't get in the VBS, we would love to have some older youth to volunteer, to help lead the younger kids around, to help out with the Untamed Game station that we have, and to help out with the Critter Cafe, which is our... which I think is most every kid's favorite one besides the games, where they get to eat and make all sorts of different creations with food. So we're, youth to come out and help if they're too old to join in. We'd love to have some adult volunteers too, because you're never too old to partake in Vacation Bible School. It's a lot of fun for
So,
everybody.
using this idea, I'm just thinking, okay, so you could go to the street dance in Noblesville on Saturday, and then you just didn't get enough. So on Sunday, you could come out to Bethel at what time?
It starts at 6 o'clock.
You already said that,
Yep,
I'm sure,
6 to
but just-
8:30 every day from Sunday to Thursday.
And then
And
is there
evenings.
some kind of, like the last night or something, there's some
The
big...
last night is our special event in the Untamed Games. We call it the world's largest slip and slide. And I'm sure it's not the world's largest, but it is very, very big. And the kids always enjoy it, and it's very slippery and have a lot of fun. So on the last day of VBS, everyone comes in their swimsuits ready to hit the slip and slide. So and we even have some adults that do it too. So
Well, I think that was what I'm not going to name any names or anything, but I think...
actually come do the slip and slide with us.
I could not. I would. Have you seen that commercial where the guy jumps on the thing and there's no water there? Well, I don't know. That would be me. but I have seen pictures in past years or some different.
Oh, we've done it for a few years.
Because
Yeah.
that's a very well. Obviously, we have some wonderful other people on staff as well. We have our youth director, and I think Joe's usually kind of
Joe Rudy, yep.
Joe Rudy,
He's
and
in charge of the slip and slide.
yes, so that I can only imagine. He's not like playing his ukulele as he's
You never know what Joe's
a
gonna bring
strange picture. She is the Christian education. Chris Lingenfelder here is the Christian education director at Bethel Lutheran Church, and her email is chris@bethellutheranchurch.com, and you can always go to the website. I know it's. I was actually looking at it last night just because I put it out in my social media and make sure people are knowing who's coming and being on my show. There's a lot of things happening at Bethel, and I know you've probably got some. So we don't want to make you think that all there is VBS. So you have some other things you can tell us in the next segment, right?
sure.
Okay. What brought you to Bethel?
Just looking for something for the kids. Sunday school program, VBS, we wanted something that was big that made them feel included.
Isn't
and
that
they do feel included.
kind of cool? Obviously, I know you do. You have an education background, and is it the right word, fortuitous? What is that the right word? There's just looking for something for your children. Now
And now I'm on staff there doing
you're
the
on
stuff that I
staff,
was looking for. Yeah,
and
it
you were
was
doing
the right
Christian
place.
education. What a great thing! And obviously, Bethel has all kinds of stories like that. We're going to come back in just a minute to Jennifer to the rescue, visit just a little more with Chris, and find out what else is going on at Bethel this month.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
We are back, and I am Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the rescue, and we are here at the Wofford Theater. Our wonderful sponsors, I haven't really mentioned a lot today, but it is Logan Street Signs and Banners. And we have Jim Wofford over here taking care of all of our technical stuff, and my wonderful guest. Let's see, wonderful I use all the time. My extraordinarily pleasant, smart,
I'll take that.
special. Now, special can be,
I can go a couple different ways.
You can go a couple different ways, but you are very special, and I mean that in a good way. Chris Lingenfelder is with Bethel Lutheran Church, and we're kind of trying to, I think, we're going to do a monthly segment, and Chris hopefully will be here, as well as maybe some other members of the church staff. We've had Julie, we've had music director, and we've had Pastor Doug and Terry Gast, and now we have Chris. And we were talking about VBS, Vacation Bible School, which does start on Sunday and goes through next week. And
one thing I should mention about Vacation Bible School, it is completely free.
Oh,
it is
that's
a
good
free
point.
program, so you can come and just some summertime fun that doesn't cost, so it's good for everybody. And every family that registers will receive a free CD that goes, music CD that goes along with all the
that's
songs
really
that the kids will be
nice.
singing. So you'll be playing it in the car, and you'll be hearing these songs for a long time because they're very catchy.
Yeah.
And then as supplies are limited, but as long as as we can. As many as we can give away, we've got T-shirts for each kid too. So as long as they last, we do have T-shirts.
So get there
signed
early,
up.
be signed up, and we were talking about you came looking for something for your children. My children are a lot older than your children, but my son, I think, actually attended a Vacation Bible School with a neighbor. And he's 25 now, but this is that many years ago. And that was the reason we joined Bethel, was because, well, we went to visit, and they were out in Cicero. Now they're at 206 in Cumberland. We were talking about some of the other things that are going on.
Sure. Goes along the same
It's all
lines of
Christian.
VBS. Is we've got Sunday school starting soon. It's hard to believe that summer's almost over. School's going to be back in just a matter of weeks. But Sunday school at the church will start on August 10th, actually, with our kind of welcome back to Sunday school celebration, and we usually pull out the slip and slide again and have a bounce
That's where I've
house.
heard of the
and,
biggest- the world's biggest
and have
slip and
some
slide.
other games, because we kind of have a celebration for welcome back to Sunday school, and the first day of Sunday school will be August 17th, and we'll actually have sign-ups on the website coming soon after VBS.
good.
After VBS is over, we'll have sign-ups on there.
Right. So go to VBS, check it out, and then know that the Sunday school will be starting very soon. And if you're looking for a church, we can both recommend that Bethel's a great place to check out and to be part of. Chris, what else did you have?
Well, also, in addition to being the director of Sunday School and Christian Education, I am the preschool director. The Bethel has a preschool for...
You are a crazy woman.
Yeah, crazy is a good word for it.
Now that is a word that means exactly. No, I know you've done a great job with the preschool, and you are getting geared up for that.
We are. It's getting ready to start. The first day of the preschool will actually be right after Labor Day, so September 2nd. But the teachers are already coming in and getting geared up. We're looking at curriculum and getting everything ready and getting registered. We've got classes for kids all the way from 18 months old for our Parents' Day Out program, all the way up through 5-year-olds that aren't quite ready for kindergarten yet. So we've got a couple different classes, and the Parents' Day Out is a wonderful program for littler kids, anywhere from 18 months to, I think it's 36 months, just getting ready for that first preschool experience. But it's a 1 or 2 day a week program, and they go play and they do arts and crafts, but it gives them a chance to socialize with other kids, to get used to just kind of being in a kind of a fun school setting, and they have a lot of fun. We've got some great teachers.
And the preschool itself, I mean, we have Barbara Day. Right?
Brenda was the former director. Yep.
Yes, she's just kind of retired. But the preschool's actually been doing quite well for a number of years.
This is its 8th year going in.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's grown, and it's continuing to grow, and so we're really looking forward and excited to kind of the next year of making a few changes and tweaking it and helping it grow even more.
I'm sorry, Brenda, I didn't mean to miss. I know Brenda, but you're taking on the role of the director.
Yeah.
So Chris really is an all-purpose Christian education lady out at Bethel Lutheran Church.
We have a lot of fun.
Yes, we do. Bethel's a wonderful place, and we're very happy that you're part of the staff, and that you will hopefully come back and keep us
love to.
up to date. And you can reach Chris at BethelLutheranChurch.com.
Yep.
You can also check out BethelLutheranChurch.com, the website, and there'll be information as things.
Yep.
But VBS is the big thing. Starts on Sunday.
Sunday the 13th, goes through Thursday the 17th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So
And they can
we'd
check
love
it
to have
out
you
on
there.
the website and stop out at Bethel, 206 in Cumberland. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I'm Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the Rescue, and wonderful sponsors, Wofford Theater and Logan Street Signs and Banners. And thank you for being here,
Thank you for
Chris.
having me. Thanks.
We'll look forward to next time.
Yeah.